Would you believe I've never done a hardcore Nuzlocke before? Yeah, no, right, I've done this channel for quite a while, and I've never actually done it, and you know what, I felt this was a better time than any to actually try it. So these are the rules for the Nuzlocke. We will catch the first encounter per route city, each Pokemon must be nicknamed, if it faints it is considered dead, and the rest of the other rules like dupes, claws and such. But can I beat Pokemon Blue using only hardcore Nuzlocke? So let's get started with this, and for this video, every single Pokemon I catch is going to be named after a subscriber on my list from as early as I can remember before the month of Retro Brown. So we'll see if you appear on here. I will give big thanks to everybody who does appear on this video right now, as it would probably take up too much of the content if I did that right all the way through. Anyway, let's get started, and of course we're going to put the battle animation off, shift style on battle style, and get started with the run. We are going to go and get our first starter Pokemon. Now, which starter Pokemon should we get? Well, that's going to be an interesting choice because, you know what? This isn't the normal one that I actually choose for most of these challenges. We're going to choose Squirtle for our Pokemon, and we are going to name it Gacha Girl. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. It's been quite a while since you subscribed, so I thought, let's make you the very first Pokemon. Anyway, with Squirtle in tow now, we are going to head on to fight the first rival, who's going to pick a Bulbasaur, meaning the final fight will be against Venusaur. Now, one of the things to know about this challenge, typical hardcore Nuzlocke, you can go up to the level cap of whatever the next major trainer is. In this one, we'll be capping out at 50. We cannot go higher than level 50. So let's see if we can actually do this as a hardcore Nuzlocke, because this will be very interesting. You might notice this is a very long video. Well, I'm going to try and show you as much of the content as possible in all the attempts and all the Pokemon that we catch so that you don't miss one of them that we go through. Anyway, we need to go and pick up Oak's parcel, so we go over to Vermilion City. We can't catch any Pokemon right now, so that Nuzlocke is technically not started. Once we've picked up the parcel, we head back to Pallet Town, and then, of course, we can go back to Viridian after this and start the Nuzlocke. You might see we're seeing quite a lot of random Pokemon here. I can't catch them until we've got Pokemon, so it doesn't actually come into effect until we have Pokeballs. In the first route that we go on, there's only 2 Pokemon to pick up, so if we catch one of them two, out of the 2 I'm actually kind of hoping for Pidgey, because then we can get Sand Attack, which is a great move to get, especially in just a lot of major fights, because Sand Attack is just broken. Evasion moves in Gen 1 are absolutely broken. As a unspoken rule on all of my challenges as well, Double Team is banned. We're going to spend all of our money on Pokeballs and get a hefty total of 15. Should be more than enough to get us all the way past Pewter and into Cerulean. So let's go catch our first Pokemon, and it is going to be a Pidgey at level 4. At this level it only has Gust, so we will have to level up to get Sand Attack. But we can catch it and then move on with the run. Here is our first Pokemon caught in the wild, and we're going to name him Brad Lewick. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you'll enjoy being the Pidgey in this run. So that is our very first Route 1 Pokemon, and there are a few other routes that we can go to try and get other Pokemon before we head off to Pewter. To the west of Viridian there, we can go, and our first encounter there is going to be a Rattata. It just can't... You know what, Rattata is actually pretty good. On my solo runs, it did ridiculously well, so I'm actually not averse to this, but I also would quite like to have had a Nidoran here. A Nidoran male out of all of them, but either way, we've got Rattata. These are the Nuzlocke rules, and Kieran, you are going to be Kieran Deacon is going to be our Rattata for today. So, yeah, I really would have liked a Nidoran there, but we're going to have to go with this. So, where Dupes Clause works, it also means that if I see a Pokemon in the wild, I can go on to try and catch a different Pokemon in that area. In this patch of grass to the north of Viridian, we can catch ourselves a Caterpie. And one of my more recent subscribers is also going to be this, because he actually wanted to be named after a Caterpie. So, you know what? Brother Kevin, you are going to be our Caterpie for today. Thank you for subscribing. Let's crack on. And then Caterpie is going to evolve extremely quickly. But we've still got more areas we can catch more Pokemon in, and in Viridian Forest, we get so lucky that we pick up a Pikachu as our first encounter in Viridian Forest. I was imagining this is going to end up being like Kakuna or a Weedle, but no, we actually got the Pikachu first time. And the chances of that, Pikachu was not a common encounter, so I'm actually really happy that we got a Pikachu in this. Atomic Rage, you are going to be our Pikachu for today. And we've got a pretty stacked team here. There are no other Pokemon we can actually catch because you won't be able to catch a Weedle in the patch of grass just to the south of Pewter. So we'll evolve Brother Kevin into a Metapod and then straight away into a Butterfree because with the level cap being 14, we can do that at level 10. Now with our team at around about level 10, we can go against the rival to the west of Viridian. I'm going to try and do every single optional fight that we can with the rival so we can actually just see more fights and also make it a bit harder for ourselves because if we lose a Pokemon in this very late game, I will not be happy. Atomic Rage is actually pretty good against most of these trainers, and just for the fact it gets Thunder Wave before level 10, it is fantastic. From there we can switch into our Rattata, who does get Leech Seeded, but the point of this Rattata right now is just to set up Tail Whips, where we can switch into another Pokemon and get rid of the Leech Seed, and then from there we can take it out with pretty much 1 or 2 hits. So once it's down on 4 HP, we will switch into Brad, our Pidgey, and use Gust for a one-shot KO. I like this team. This is actually a pretty good team to start off with, but Pikachu is not going to be very much use in the Brock fight. So let's head through Viridian Forest and go against the one mandatory bug catcher. He's got a Weedle, and our brother Kevin actually does get poisoned in this fight. Thankfully we did pick up an antidote in the forest beforehand, otherwise we would not have had enough steps to work with to actually get it to the Pokemon Center and heal it. We're going to miss out the Light Years trainer today and go straight for Brock. Now considering we started off with Squirtle, this is going to be a very easy fight. Gachigo goes in with the bubbles and it's going to be 2 hits per Pokemon to get the win here. And we're not even at the level cap here, which is pretty good because considering we need to do this before level 50, we actually need to try and do a lot of these fights under leveled compared to being at the level cap for these. Getting the very first badge, we are well on our way to completing this Nuzlocke. We heal up our Pokemon and then we're going to head towards the east of Viridian where we've got a lot of mandatory trainers here and we get very close in this fight to losing our very first guy. Kieran is honestly doing pretty well in this early game with Quick Attack. Rattata's attack stat is honestly alright. I like the Rattata line. It does get poisoned in this, but we have picked up a load of antidotes, Paralyze Heals and Awakenings in Fuchsia City to make sure we don't get that. Now in this patch of grass here, we can catch ourselves a Jigglypuff if we can, but because of Dupes Claws, we are getting past these Pidgeys, but annoyingly, we do get a Spearow as our catch for this area. The other rule as well, if we KO Pokemon on that route, we can't then go back and try and catch it. We'll have to try and find another Pokemon in a different route. It locks it out. Leo Emery, you are going to be our Spearow for this video, and thank you for joining the channel. I really appreciate it. So now we've got our accountant for... Oh, there's the Jigglypuff as well. That would have been... that would have been a good addition to the team. Anyway, in Mount Moon, of course, the Zubat comes up first, which means we're going to have to catch this one here, and we can't get the likes of a Geodude, Clefairy, or Paris in here. We'll get Kieran to knock it down on HP, throw our Pokeball, and there we go. We have ourselves a Zubat, which is going to be named Starlaw. Thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the channel. And Zubat in this early game is not going to be too great, if I'm being honest, but it's going to have its time to shine later on. We'll head on to the Rockets and take them out in Mount Moon. Now, the Rockets aren't too much of a problem really, but you know what? We just need to send out the right Pokemon to go against them. Rattata, if it had Hyper Fang here, would actually be able to one-shot Pikachu. So we're going to go Rattata versus Rattata, and our Rattata has Hyper Fang, which means we've got a much better fight. We take out the Zubat, and Kieran Deacon is honestly really pulling his weight in this very early game. There's the Geodude we possibly could have had, but Zubats are just way more common in Mount Moon. We pick up the Moonstone just in case we do come across a Nidoran later in the game. And then we put Leo Emery into the very first fight against the Super Nerd. And I'm actually going to just not go for fossil Pokemon in this run, because I want different encounters on Cinnabar, if I'm being honest with you. There are other... because a lot of Fire-type Pokemon in Gen 1 are kind of locked over to Cinnabar, especially with the Pokemon Mansion. We can grab a Magmar in there, that would be absolutely fantastic, because I love the Magmar line, it is a great Pokemon. Gachigo gets us the win, we pick up the Helix Fossil, which will go immediately into the box, because, as I just said, we are not doing fossil Pokemon here. We're also not doing trade Pokemon, but we can also have gift Pokemon if we do want. That one I will keep. Our encounter for the west of Cerulean is going to be Sandshrew, which is great because I was hoping for this one. It's a very good HM Pokemon, and you know what? Yeah, I'm quite happy with this one. It's one of my favourite Pokemon as well. Bobby George, you are going to be our Sandshrew for today, and we can move on to Cerulean. Now, I'm going to go straight for Misty's gym, but at level 15, I really don't think we might have... I don't really think we'll have enough to work with to actually beat Misty at this level. A lot of the Pokemon do evolve pretty soon here, so we might be worth going to train up and then going against Misty for an easier fight. We do have a level cap of up to 21, so we can go up to level 20, and a lot of Pokemon at that stage will have evolved. Leo Emery gets to level 16, beating that trainer, and we go and train, getting our Rattata into Raticate, Squirtle into Wartortle, Spearow into Fearow at level 20, and then our Pidgey into Pidgeotto at level 18. Pikachu is still the only Pokemon in our team right now that is not evolved, but it's going to be the key player in this fight. We start with Pidgeotto, getting the Sand attacks up because this is the Retro Brown channel, and I do this a lot when I have access to Sand attack. It just makes it a lot easier for ourselves, and that means we can safely bring in Kieran, who can now use Hyper Fang, and it's going to be a 2-shot on the Staryu. From here, we're going to try and set up a couple of Tail Whips, but I also whiffed up here. Bubble Beam, 1-shot, well, does half damage on Kieran, and we have our first death of the run. I'm so sorry, Kieran, but I just badly strategized here. I was getting too complacent, and unfortunately, like our rival in the main game, Raticate is the first death. We'll have to bury it at Lavender Tower. Oh, you can't write this stuff, can you? But either way, we bring in Brother Kevin, who gets the Starmie to sleep, bringing in Atomic Rage for the easy Thundershock KO with 3 Thundershocks. We get the second badge, but with a heavy heart, we have lost our first Pokemon of the run. So, as this Nuzlocke works, once you have lost a Pokemon, you have to go to the PC, and from there, you deposit it, and we will release Kieran into... Well, he's dead, so he's gone to... Yeah. Bye-bye, Racket. I really hope we don't have to say bye-bye, Butterfree. This means we can then bring in Bobby, our Sandshrew, and level it up to match the others, because it's going to be a pretty good Pokemon in this fight. Against the rival on Nugget Bridge, we're going to Thunder Wave that Pidgeotto to start off with, then going into the Thundershocks. Unless Pidgeotto gets a critical hit, Pikachu will actually be able to complete this. It gets down to low HP, and you know it's not worth losing Pikachu at this stage. It's still a very good Pokemon to have. And then we bring Bobby in to also get the win there. Slash will just one-shot that Abra. It nearly one-shots the Rattata, but it's getting low on HP, so we're going to have to switch here again. The Flyers that we have in our team are the perfect Pokemon to switch into here, and we're going to switch into Leo, our Fearow. That actually rhymes. Yeah, I quite like that. And Fearow gets the win against the Bulbasaur. So from there, we only have one Pokemon in the box, but we can now add a new member to the team. In this patch of grass, I was hoping for an Abra, but annoyingly we got a Bellsprout, which in itself isn't a bad Pokemon. We haven't actually got any grass types yet, so we might as well grab one here. And Bellsprout is a pretty solid Pokemon. It's got good attack stats. It can learn Wrap, it can learn Vine Whip, Razor Leaf. It's pretty good. So our Bellsprout for today is going to be named Great Sage. Thank you for subscribing. You are our Bellsprout for today. Let's see how we do from there. So we've got a total of 8 Pokemon to work with. One who was annoyingly passed away. Honestly, it really tickled me that Raticate was the first one to fall, considering the rumours around Raticate, like the rivals Raticate getting killed on the SSN. Anyway, we go over to Bill, we pick up the SSN ticket, and then we'll head down back to Cerulean where we can go and pick up... Well, we need to go and pick up a new Pokemon. Now, you might be wondering, why have I not taught myself Dig so far? Well, if you saw my rule set right at the start, I am not teaching myself any TMs. These Pokemon have to do this with their own level up movesets. We cannot use TMs, but we can use HMs because they're required to actually complete the game. We whiffed on getting a Meowth on the south of Cerulean, so we have to go to the north of Vermilion where it straight away comes back up in the grass, and we actually can catch Meowth for this run, which will be a great addition to the team if we can get a Persian. That speed stat is going to be insane. Jason993, you are our Meowth for today. And then there's one more encounter we can get here, which is Diglett in Diglett's Cave. We nearly one-shot it, which would be a bad thing to do. But we pick up our Diglett and we're going to call it that ninja guy, which I think is quite aptly named because Diglett is one of the fastest Pokemon, or at least it is one of the fastest ground-type Pokemon in Gen 1. Ninja guy, you are our Diglett for today, and honestly, you are going to come in clutch on so many times. No, we didn't get a Dugtrio as the second one. Would have been actually pretty good if we got the Dugtrio, but it would have been well above the level cap from the Dugtrio you can get in that patch in Diggle's Cave. To the east of Vermilion, we can also catch ourselves a Drowsy, which is going to be a fantastic addition because we have no Psychic types right now. Drowsy, you are going to be called Hermaniac. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. So, with a lot of Pokemon in tow, we're going to have to switch up our team to go against the rival on the SSN. It's going to be an interesting fight, that one, but I'm really hoping we don't lose any more Pokemon because this is where the Raticate would actually be taken down. We switch up our team. I'm going with Atomic Rage against the Pidgeotto. It's the best counter that we have for it. We've got a Thunder Wave up and Thunder Shock. It's going to take 3 Thunder Shocks to take it down, or unless we get 2, unless we get a critical hit. We paralyze the Raticate, and then that is it for Atomic Rage here. We are not going to risk losing it. And then we will switch into Baobiao Sandshrew, who can tank hits better. We get a couple of Sand Attacks up, and at 28 HP, after a few Sand Attacks, it's going to take 2 slashes to take it down. With Kadabra coming out next, we're going to get a couple of Sand Attacks up, and thankfully he doesn't go for Confusion because that probably would one-shot us from this range. Yes, I am playing a little bit risky, but this is how I normally play, and you know, if Pokemon fall, that is how it has to happen. Balbi will not be able to survive a Vine Whip though, so we are going to switch into Hermaniac, who is a level 20 now, and has got a great moveset with Hypnosis and Confusion at this stage of the game. Confusion is going to be a 2-shot on the Ivysaur, and we get quite a comfortable win without losing any Pokemon. So I'm quite happy with that. Once we can pick up the TM for Cut, we're going to teach that to our Diglett and Sandshrew because they both can learn it. And we'll head on to Surge. Now with 2 ground Pokemon in tow, this should be a very easy fight. That ninja guy is going to go straight in and gets straight away a big Sonic Boom hit onto us. We don't have much HP to work on a Diglett, but Ninja Guy clutches up and Dig just sweeps through his entire team. Diglett learns Dig naturally, so we didn't actually teach it the TM, but we get the 3rd badge and we are pretty comfortable with how we're doing. The Rapinlass on the east of Cerulean just gets completely decimated by Jace now and Meowth. With the critical hits we can get from its good base speed, we're not honestly doing too bad with this Pokemon. We're going to get a couple levels up on it, but it does get poisoned, but thankfully we do have some antidotes left over from Pewter. And we're going to go and pick up our next encounter, which is Voltorb in this patch of grass here before Rock Tunnel. Now, I whiffed up. I decided Pokeball for it, and I was really hoping it would go in, and then Jason gets taken down by another Sonic Boom. We have lost our second Pokemon to run, and that is a big blow because Persian is so good in Gen 1 because of its base speed. And I'm really annoyed at this one. But that is 2 Pokemon down. Hermaniac can be brought in, and we can catch a Voltorb. Very regrettably, because I did not really want a Voltorb. But, Boothmaster, you are going to be our Voltorb for today. But, yeah. I'm really not happy that we lost Meowth there. Persian would have been such a great asset to the team. Because Voltorb actually can't learn any electric-type moves via level up, it's only normal-type moves. Jason gets released, and yeah, bye-bye Meowth. Sorry about it, buddy. Anyway, with going into Rock Tunnel, we have our next encounter, which is not Zubat, because that would be Dupes Claws. Our next encounter is Machop, which I'm happy this one came up. Honestly, I wouldn't have been too adverse to having an Onix as well, but Machop is still a great Pokemon, even in Gen 1, where it doesn't get that many good moves. We can't allow trades in this because I'm working on an emulator and I've got no one to trade with, so we're going to have to deal with just having a Machop eventually. Hazel, you are our Machop for today, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate it. In Rock Tunnel, Great Sage evolves into Weeping Bell, and against the Pokemaniac here, I go in with not much HP. So Gachigo gets a couple of hits in before Headbutt gets us down to 1 HP. We nearly lost our starter Pokemon there, but then we work into Great Sage, who gets the kill with Vine Whip. Against the Exploding Hiker, oh, there's the Onix, we could have had that. Against the Exploding Hiker going in with Great Sage, we are not going to have a problem whatsoever. Vine Whips will just one-shot every single Pokemon, and as long as we don't see a self-destruct, which thankfully we don't, we get through Rock Tunnel without any losses. We pick up the Max Ether, and then we're going to head to Lavender Tower for the next rival fight. Our team is pretty good right now. We've got some really good coverage here. But let's see how we do in this fight. Now, the biggest problem about this fight is he now has a Gyarados, which is an absolute beast at this point in the game. It has Hydro Pump, it has Hyper Beam. It is absolutely stacked. And it also has Bite and Leer, which is incredibly good as well. So against the Pidgeotto, we're kind of wondering which one we need to go against. We put Gacha Girl in, which only at this point has Water Gun. We cannot teach it Bulb Beam because that will go against the rules of using the TMs. And Gacha Girl seems to get a quite an easy win. We try to get a couple of Tail Whips up on the Gyarados, but annoyingly use a Dragon Rage. This is why it's also really annoying at this stage. Because for one, if we can't get it to sleep and keep it to sleep, we can try for a few growths on Great Sage. If it uses big attacks here, we will lose. And annoyingly, Great Sage also falls to the Gyarados. That is wounding. I didn't think we'd be getting to this stage in the game and losing so many Pokemon, and so many good Pokemon as well. Victory Bell would have been a great addition to the team. It's fast and it gets Sleep Powder. But Brother Kevin, he avenges Great Sage to get the kill on Gyarados, but that is such a blow to the team. Losing a Weeping Bell at this point where we were just about to evolve it into a Victory Bell as well. I am really annoyed by that. Either way, the rest of our team can come in, sweep up and clean up. We don't lose any more in this fight as they'll nearly get half its HP taken out by Ivysaur. We managed to get one Leer in before switching to Hermanic. And from there we get the Hypnosis hit after 2 attempts. And from there, Confusion can take out the Ivysaur. But, man, we've lost a 3rd Pokemon. We're not even at the 4th badge. Hardcore Nuzlocke are honestly a lot more difficult than I ever imagined. I never did these before, because I feel like you had to spend so much time on them. And I've watched other people's videos where they've spent, 8 hours actually, like, streaming a Hardcore Nuzlocke. I've never tried them before, and it honestly is a big blow. I really like the Weeping Bell line. But, Great Sage, bye-bye. We evolve Starlaw into Golbat, and we move on to the next route. So this last here has a Clefairy. We're going to put in Hazel to actually get a little bit more experience here. And it's a lot easier win when you've got Low Kick on normal type Pokemon. Next we can pick up our next Pokemon in this patch of grass here. Or, you know what, I haven't got cut on even my team, so right now we're just going to skip this patch of grass, maybe come back to it later. And we'll pick up the Elixir in the Underground, which is about halfway through. If you just kind of get about a third of the way through and then start mashing it on each step, you will eventually find it there. That brings us through to Celadon, where we can actually pick up our next team member, and of course, it's going to be Eevee for Celadon. Like, how could it not be? And thanks to his massive support on this channel, Jubbles, you are our Eevee for today, and Eevee goes into the box. We're not going to use it just yet. I haven't really decided how the team's going to shape up, so maybe later down the line we'll use one of the stones and actually get it into one of the evolutions. We evolve Atomic Rage into a Raichu, giving ourselves a big boost to the team. And then we go pick up a Vulpix on the east of Celadon. It's not going to be too useful, if I'm being honest, because we don't get Flamethrower till later stages. And I made a big mistake here. So, annoyingly, Story Z, you are going to be our Vulpix for today, but I am probably not going to use you after this mistake that you will see right here. I went back to Celadon and immediately used a Firestone on it, and then realised Ninetales doesn't have any level up moves in Gen 1. So we can't get Flamethrower, and it actually makes Ninetales completely useless. We evolved some of our other Pokemon. We've got ourselves a Hypno now, we've got ourselves Sandslash. But in the 4th gym, there's only one Pokemon that we actually need, and that is Starlaw, our Golbat. And that comes down to just one move alone, really. Well, 2 moves, really. We only need 2 moves to get through this entire Erica fight. We need Starlaw to come in with Confuse Ray, Outspeed, and from there we can use Leech Life, which is 4 times effective on 2 of her best Pokemon in this, because in Gen 1, Bug is super effective against Poison and Grass, meaning it's a 4 times effective hit on Grass type Pokemon. And because we recover HP as well, we have no problem whatsoever taking down this Victory Bell. We get through with pretty much all of our HP, and weirdly enough, the Tangler actually becomes the biggest problem on our team. Because it is used to Constrict and Bind, there's some times where we can't use a move in a turn because of the attack continues. But from there, Leech Life will just eventually take it out, as well as Bite will, and that brings us into the Vileplume. Now we're at level 28 here, we are just at the level cap, but once we've got a Confuse Ray up, Leech Life will do tons of damage as soon as we don't get put to sleep. Petal Dance is not doing all too much because it is quad resisted by poison and flying, so from here we can just use Leech Life, get our HP all the way back up, and Starlaw on its own, before even the level cap, one-shots, well not one-shots, solos Erica, which sometimes is one of the harder gym leaders to do, depending on which Pokemon you choose. So I'm quite happy with that win. And the level cap now goes up to level 43. We've got a lot to work with now and a lot of Pokemon we can go pick up. But before that, we are going to go straight to Giovanni. Giovanni is not a problem for Hermaniac, and Hermaniac is honestly becoming one of the MVPs of this team. It is just reliable, it is consistent. And I would much rather have had a Kadabra, but you know what? Hermaniac is really coming clutch in place of a Kadabra. Pick up the Sylph Scope, and that means we can now dig out and go and get a new Pokemon. So from here, we can go up to this patch of grass just to the west of Celadon, and we can pick ourselves up a Doduo. And I'm quite happy with this one because Doduo and Dodrio, probably the best flying type Pokemon in Gen 1 in my opinion, just for the amount of attack they have and their speed. So maybe not right away, but Doduo, Dodrio is going to be a key player in this run. Our Doduo for today is going to be Zach New. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. And yeah, I actually really rate the Doduo line. That brings us back to Lavender Tower. We can pick up our next encounter, which of course is going to be Ghastly, because it's the most common Pokemon you find in Lavender Tower. We can get it to sleep, and then from there we can catch it with the Great Ball. Ghastly for today is going to be named after one of my more recent subscribers, which is the Prophet Lot. Thank you for subscribing, I really appreciate it, and welcome to the channel. You're going to be our Ghastly for today. And yeah, there's going to be key points where you actually make a big difference. Now, I was honestly assuming that by this point we might have had to reset from having one bad fight. But we're honestly doing pretty good. We've picked up the right Pokemon to be able to do this so far. And Sandslash in itself is just one-shot in every single Pokemon with Slash. It's a great... I really rate Sandslash. It's not very good in the late game, really, when you've got going up against a lot of water types. But now we've completed Lavender Tower, we can get the Pokeflute and get our next team member, which of course you know for a fact I'm going to go and get a Snorlax. He's a great Pokemon. Brother Kevin gets it to sleep, and from here we'll reduce its speed just in case, and then Confusion to get it into catch range. We need to keep it asleep so that it'll never attack us, because it does hit hard and I don't want to be hit by a headbutt here. It will get Body Slam naturally via level up, so as Body Slam is my favourite move, yes, we definitely need that. Our Snorlax for today is going to be Geography City. Thank you for subscribing, or as we're going to name him because we don't have many characters to work with, Geo City. So that is our catch for the south of Lavender, and we can move on to the next point where we will evolve quite a lot of our Pokemon. Prophet Lot evolves into Haunter, Doduo evolves into Dodrio, Voltorb into Electrode, and Machop into Machoke. Ninja Guy also evolves into Dugtrio, and then we can move on to Silphco with our upgraded team. Now we've got a stacked team here with the team you see in the main points here. So we're going to start off with Atomic Rage, who actually won't learn any more electric type moves via level up, because Raichu doesn't learn any via level up. And without using any oh my god, that Gyarados is the bane of my life right now. No way we have just lost one of our best team members to it. Oh my word, that is really annoying. I can't believe we just lost Raichu, that's so annoying. Oh, thankfully Geo City can come in and just sweep the rest, but this is such an empty win. I really needed Raichu for the late game. That is so annoying. Geo City gets down to 2 HP, and we're going to have to switch into our Dodrio, who can tank at least one Razor Leaf, but it does outspeed. This was a risky play, because if we didn't outspeed there, we might have lost our Dodrio as well. But we clutched up and we only lost one Pokemon. I'm so annoyed by that. This rival has taken 2 of my Pokemon. I am not happy by this. We pick up Lapras, which is going to be Summer Latigia Camaradis. Thank you. I don't know if I've said that right, but thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. You're going to be some Latigic right for this video. So we picked up a Lapras, and yeah, it's an empty win, this one. I'm not happy that we've lost Raichu whatsoever. But as per the rules of Nuzlocke, we will go and release it. And this really is a sour win. So which Pokemon do we bring in instead? We are going to bring in... Which one should we bring in? We'll bring in Azel for now, because with the next Giovanni fight coming up, it actually will be worth our time to have a fighting type Pokemon against the rock types. So, as you can see here, we are getting quite close to that level cap and we need to start going against some gym leaders. But we can't go against Sabrina until we have beaten Silphco, so we need to go and beat Giovanni now. And hopefully there's no more deaths from here, because we've lost 4 really good Pokemon there. Raticate is honestly a lot better than people give it credit for. Persian's base speed means we get a lot of crits. Victory Bell would have been a great addition to the team because we have no grass types. And Raichu, man, like, it's fast, it's so fast, but it's so defensively weak, which is why we just can't stand up to a Gyarados with that. If we'd had Thunderbolt, it would have been probably a one-shot at that range. Anyway, Profit Lock comes into the Giovanni fight and sweeps up completely on its own. Nightshade is a great attack to have on it. And it was weird because I realised that we don't actually learn many good moves without TMs for the Ghastly line, really. Nightshade is a great move, Hypnosis is a great move, Confuse Ray is honestly a great move as well. But we only don't get Dream Eater until late game, so it might honestly be the point where we don't use Haunter very much anymore. But it sweeps up in this fight, giving us a clutch win just on its own, and from here we can now go against the next gym leaders. Next up, of course, is going to be Sabrina. We are going to miss the encounter in the the dojo, because we picked up Lapras in Silphco. That's our encounter for Saffron City. Sabrina I'm quite scared of because our team is quite weak to special type moves. Psychic nearly one-shots Dodrio, so we have to immediately switch. And honestly, Hermaniac is going to be a great player in this team against Psychic types. It actually does have... It will get Meditate later on, which is going to be good for boosting its attack. But Headbutt is a decent move, so we'll go through this. If we can get the Venomoth to sleep, we can do decent damage with it with Confusion, because Venomoth is Poison Bug, and Poison is super effective. That brings us into Alakazam, and you know what, from here, I feel like Hermaniac has done its work. So if we can get a Hypnosis off, that'd be perfect. We do get the Hypnosis off, we switch into Geo City. And from there, we've now got Body Slam as a move. 2 Body Slams will get us the win without losing a Pokemon against Sabrina, which I'm quite happy about. That means we've got one more gym leader before we head off to Cinnabar Island. We're going to go straight up to Fuchsia City next. And from here, we've got... we nearly lose another Pokemon. Geo City goes into this fight, and I thought, you know, Body Slam is fantastic, but we get down to 33 HP, and then a Confusion takes us down to 2 HP as well. This was so close. But we nearly lost our Snorlax, and I do not want to lose that Pokemon. For Koga, we bring in that ninja guy, and of course we are just going to dig our way through. Dig is such a great move, and especially if he decides to use Self-Destruct on the Weezing, we can miss an attack. And it is a very fast Pokemon. We need a lot of speed with a team that is very underleveled. We dig, and he goes for Self-Destruct, meaning that ninja guy has just swept Koga on its own, and we can learn the move Slash finally at level 35. So we're doing pretty well now. I'm still gutted we lost Raichu, but this is how a Nuzlocke works. We can then go into Safari Zone, where our first encounter is a Nidorina. We're catching on the first ball, and you know what? We can actually get ourselves a Nidoqueen now. And again, I whiffed up a bit here. Just like with Ninetales, I evolved it way too early without realising that Nidoqueen can't learn any moves via level up. So, yeah. Emma Branford, you are going to be our Nidoqueen for today, but unfortunately we're not going to be using you, so I will put you as the rival on another video. Same to anyone else who has not seen their Pokemon being used very much or at all, I will make sure you're used as a different Pokemon or a different rival in a different video. Once we've picked up that Pokemon, we can then... This is where I whiffed up. I used the Moonstone straight away. And it's kind of annoying because if you look at the moveset, at this point we would only have Tackle, Tail Whip, Poison Sting, and probably Growl. So yeah, not the greatest moveset to work with, especially for a Nidoqueen, and it's not worth doing it. We go to the east of Fuchsia, and our encounter here is actually a Ditto, which is crazy. We catch the Ditto, which is going to be called Daft Poo. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. And honestly, there's not going to be a point where I'm thinking I'm going to be using Ditto here, so Daft Poo, you'll be another rival or Pokemon on another video. But for today, you are our Ditto. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel. That brings us to our next encounter, and we need to go and pick up the Super Rod because we're kind of lacking on water types really. So if we can get a decent water type here, which we're not going to, it's Goldeen. Oh my god, we are getting some bad encounters here. Oh, I know the Seeking video did well, but Goldeen is just, yeah, it's not going to be a good fit for this team. Flooper, you are going to be our Goldeen for today, but unfortunately we will probably not see Goldeen being used. That brings us over to Pallet Town, and we can get a new encounter on the way on this route. So which Pokemon appears the most when you're surfing? Well, of course it's going to be a Tentacool, which would be a great Pokemon to have on the team in all honesty. Like, it's a really tanky guy. So we might use it, but we might just stay in the box as well. Asphatos, you are going to be our Tentacool for this fight. Well, for this video, sorry. And you might see, we are level caps now at level 47. We are still on our first attempt. I'm so proud that I've actually managed to get this far in just one attempt. And we will head on to Cinnabar where we can get our next encounter. So we will heal up our Pokemon and then head to the Pokemon Mansion. But we also might go, let's go to Seafoam Mines and see if we can get a good encounter here. And it delivers straight away. We get a Seal. Now, if you've watched my channel recently, you know how good that Dugong run was. It was the most surprising Pokemon that actually got into my SS tier of solo runs. And I'm so happy we caught this Seal. For today, for being one of my most active subscribers recently, Whoopagoat, you are going to be the absolute GOAT that is Dugong and Seal. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and thank you for all your comments. We're going to immediately get Seal evolved into Dugong, and we might have our biggest mainstay of the team. Gacha Girl evolves into Blastoise, and we pick up our last encounter in Cinnabar, which is going to be Ponyta in the Pokemon Mansion. Once we've got all the standard attacks up, hopefully it's not going to hit us with a few stomps. We can switch into a different Pokemon to actually get it down to lower health. 2 bites will get it down low health, and from here, Ponyta is caught. That means that Crimson 3095, you are going to be our Ponyta, but with the fights coming up, I'm not too sure I'm going to really need a fire type. Really don't think I'm going to. Let's see how we do against Blaine anyway. We have caught a lot of Pokemon in the background that can, stay. Oh, they're probably going to stay in the box unless we switch around a little bit. But I'm quite confident the team we've got right now is honestly going to be pretty good. Whoopagoat comes in and honestly does so well against Blaine, even though it is under level compared to his team. But the fact that it's a water ice type means they will use their fire type moves against us, and it starts becoming very dicey. He finally clutches up against the Ponyta, but that's enough for Whoopagoat in this fight. We bring in Gacha Girl, our Blastoise, and from here surf our way to victory. 2 surfs will take down the Rapidash, and again 2 surfs will take down the Arcanine. We take a lot of damage from that Arcanine's takedown, but we still get the win without a loss, and it's been quite a while now since we've had a loss. Hopefully that does not persist, because it is honestly hurting when these Pokemon fall. It really is hurting. That brings us to the final gym leader, and of course that is going to be Giovanni. Whoopagoat is just the GOAT here. Honestly, I love your name on YouTube, Whoopagoat. If we do a Gen 2 Hardcore Nuzlocke, you know for sure I'm going to call you Whooper. Like, you will be the Whooper for that video. We switch into Dodrio just to get a couple of, well, we are getting low on HP for Dodrio, so we'll need to switch back into Whoopagoat to get ourselves a comfortable win on the Nidoking with 2 surfs. Thrash does a lot of damage, and we are down to 31 HP. But from here, 1 surf can take out the Rhydon. We get all 8 badges, and the level cap now caps out at level 50. From here, now comes the big challenge. The rival to the west of Viridian. Now, what team should we go for this? Well, I'm quite comfortable with this team we've got here right now. We've got some decent coverage, we've got very good moves to work with. At level 42, we've got 2 Pokemon that can resist Gyarados'. Oh my god, he's done so much damage. We managed to reduce his attack with Aurora Beam, but we need to switch it into a different Pokemon. And because Geocity's got the biggest bulk, probably the best Pokemon to switch into. We get the Paralysis with Body Slam, and thankfully Gyarados does not claim another victim this video. From here, Geocity then sweeps through a lot of the other Pokemon, but it gets down to 29 HP against the Alakazam, but thankfully that Paralysis means we can get another Body Slam in before switching into Hermaniac, who is probably our MVP Pokemon against this Venusaur. Big Psychic will take 2 hits to take it down, but Razor Leaf nearly one-shots us from that range. 14 HP, we managed to clutch on and get a win. But wow, that was starting to get close. We need to head back all the way to Vermilion City, just to heal up before we go into Victory Road. Now in Victory Road, we can catch our last catch of the game, which is a Geodude in Victory Road of all places. MT, okay, Freaky S, you are going to be our Geodude for today, but considering it's not a good Pokemon for the Elite Four, probably we are not going to use you here. I'm very sorry for that. Anyway, let's see how we do. This is what you all came for. This is to see if we can beat the Elite Four. And this is going to be a difficult one. Get away, Zubat. We don't need to see you anymore. So, we need to figure out what we're doing for the Elite Four. And I decided, finally, it's time to bring Jubbles in for the clutch wins. Because we need an electric type to deal with Lorelei, deal with Gyarados. Yeah. So, Jubbles, you are going to be our Jolteon for today. Annoyingly, we don't have any better moves than Thundershock, but that is going to be more than enough because of the fact it gets agility and sand attack. Now, Lorelei, I was so scared for. We managed to get full agility set up, full sand attack set up, and from here, Jules can do a lot of damage with Thundershock. We're only level 45 going into this because, you know what? We need to keep the levels down at level 50. So, Jules goes crazy on the first 3 Pokemon before Jinx comes out. Now, we need to choose a good counter here, and I decided to go for Geocity because of its bulk. Thrash doesn't do all too much, and we can start setting up. Well, we can use Body Slam to deal big damage out. That brings in the Lapras. And Hydro Pump does tons of damage, bringing us down to 23 HP. I was hoping we get the Paralysis there, but it just didn't work out that way for us. So we bring in Whoopago, trying to get a little bit more chip and some flinches with Headbutt. We managed to do quite a bit before Body Slam takes it down to low HP. From here, we could rest up, but I feel like we need to switch. So we're going to bring it in. Who do we bring in? Zach's weak to ice. We're going to bring in Hermaniac, who can... Okay, if we don't get the Hypnosis off here... Oh, wow, that is clutch, 15 HP. We get it asleep and take it down with 2 Psychics. That was so close, and that Lapras could have swept our entire team from that range. That brings us into the second Elite Four member, which is Bruno. And Whoopago here goes absolutely bonkers. Onyx just can't stand up to it, so we bring in Zach New to bring in the Flies. We did teach it Fly because it is a HM move. We can teach it that. Hitmonlee goes for the high jump kick and then hits itself because we flew up and it decided to just crash. Whoopago is then brought back in and Big Surf takes out the second Onyx. Next, of course, is going to be Machamp, and we can use the big Psychics here to take it down in 2 hits. Submission does big damage, but it's nowhere near enough to make us worry. 2 Elite Four members down, and that brings us to Agatha. Now, this is going to be a difficult one. We need to get through this without losing any Pokemon, because we need all 6 Pokemon to deal with Lance. So, Dugtrio, the reason why it is in this team for this fight is literally just for Agatha. After this, there are a lot of flying type Pokemon we need to contend with, so it will lose its need really after this fight. But Whoopago again is just amazing. Dugong is such a good Pokemon in Gen 1, like incredible Pokemon. We can bring back that Ninja guy in to dig against most of the poison types and get big damage off. It is also outspeeding a lot of them, which is also very, very helpful, especially against the ghosts, who are very, very fast Pokemon. Ninja guy does big damage on all of the Pokemon, and even though we're confused, we do have ourselves a confusion once. We get toxic and it's starting to look bad, but we clutch up for the dig and get another win. That's 3 Elite Four members down without losing a single Pokemon. But now comes a big challenge. Lance the Dragon Trainer. So we need to get sand attacks up on this Gyarados immediately, because if we cannot take it down, it will sweep our entire team. We get sand attacks up and then Thundershock to take it down, so Jubbles has done everything it needs to here. From here we'll then switch into Geo City, who can set up a few amnesias and increase its bulk with the Badge Boost glitch. Yes, this is allowed in this run. We can use the Badge Boost glitch. The worst thing that can happen is they get a critical hit. Thankfully, it clutches up and second Hyper Beam. A third one comes in, it barely does any damage, meaning we can get body slams off to get the wins against them. We paralyze the Dragonair and then bring it into the Aerodactyl. Now, if we can get paralysis here, that works for in our favour. But it uses a Hyper Potion, and then from there, big takedown brings us down to 75 HP. We rest back up. And the worst thing that can happen here is we get Supersonic, and wow, that's a lot of damage from Bite. No. We lost Snorlax. Not this far into the run, that is wounding. We need Snorlax for the champion. Oh no, this is going to end up so badly now. We've come so far to try and do this in one attempt. Whoopergoat, no, he tanks the Hyper Beam. Whoopergoat clutches up and avenges Snorlax. My god, that is such a blow to the team right at the end. Can we do this with just 5 Pokemon? I don't know if we can. Let's see how we do. Jubbles comes straight in with the sand attacks. If we can get set up with agility, we can deal a lot of damage out to start off with. We get all 6 sand attacks up without taking any damage. Our luck is pretty much on our side starting off. And we miss the Sky attack, taking down that Pidgeot. Next up is Alakazam, and it goes for Reflect first, meaning we can get some sand attacks up and make sure that Alakazam does not do damage on us. Until the Psybeam hits us, we get confused. But from there, it's all we need. We can... Quick Attack's just not doing enough. Thundershock's not doing... No. We're going to have to switch. Gyarados is coming up next. We need to keep Jubbles in. We switch into Hermaniac, who will not take much damage from an Alakazam because of the types. And we set up the Meditates to try and Badge Boost as much as we can. If we can get Headbutts in, they can do big damage. Oh, Psychic hits again in crits. This is not looking good whatsoever. Oh, Rhydon is in next, and Psychics are not doing anywhere near what I wanted it to. Critical hit does take it down. We can outspeed, but Hermaniac falls to a Gyarados Hydro Pump. We've got 4 Pokemon to work with here. Can Jubbles clutch up with that last sand attack? We get the paralysis, but Jubbles falls to a Hyper Beam. This Gyarados has killed so many of my Pokemon on this run. Can Zac clutch up? It gets hit by a Dragon Rage and takes the Gyarados down with Drill Peck. We switch into Whoopergoat against Arcanine, but Embers are doing tons of damage. It's just... This is looking so bad. Ember takes down Whoopergoat, and we're down to our last 2 Pokemon. It's 2v2. Ninja Guy takes down the Arcanine. We are into Venusaur. Can we do anything against this Venusaur before we fall? We get a dig off to get rid of the Solar Beam, but Mega Drain gets it back up to nearly full HP, and it is all on Zac New here. We use Fly. He goes for Growth, and Fly again gets us the win. It came down to our very last Pokemon, but we managed to beat Pokemon Blue in my first ever Hardcore Nuzlocke in one attempt before level 50. And it all came down to Dodrio in the end. This was a difficult run, but my god, we have had some ups and downs on the way. We had 9 deaths in that entire run. And my god, they all came right at the end. That was so close. Thank you to everyone who has been a subscriber this month. I really appreciate it. To everyone who's been a Pokemon on this one, a named Pokemon, it is all appreciated. I massively enjoy all of your support, and I hope you have enjoyed this video, because I didn't think this one would be able to be done in one attempt. But Dodrio clutched up, and we got the win. Oh, I enjoyed that so much. I might have to do more Hardcore Nuzlockes in later generations, because yeah, this was so unusual for me to do. I don't do Nuzlocks. This is my first ever one. But we completed it. If you got to this point in the video, guys, please like and subscribe, you legends. And we'll see you tomorrow for another challenge run. Take care.